Hello, Soul Tribe. It's Deanna Aurelius Brown. I'm coming back to you with new knowledge and new codes that I've researched and integrated in this past month. Life has thrown me a curveball this past month, and while trying to figure out what's happening, as you know, we all had a strange March where everything from the past kind of resurfaced. And as light workers and star seeds, I'm sure as you guys, I've also experienced the same kind of earthly tribulations, so to speak, where these things happened into my life and completely derailed me from what I was doing. However, because you and I are on a path to ascension and we have already worked on a lot of the skills to of discernment, of accessing intuition, of manifesting the new step that we're moving towards. I, like you, did not really succumb to this, all right? So we are on an ascension path as star seeds and light workers, and new memories are coming each and every day. You go to sleep and then finally you remember something new, or you dream of something that, oh my gosh, I dreamt I was in a different lifetime or in a past life, or why is this thing seem feeling familiar? And I've experienced the same thing as I'm sure you did, and we are a collective that we are working towards tipping the scales, tipping the balance between the 3D matrix, the matrix that keeps us entrapped into lower frequencies of, war and fear and crime and killings and judgment and jealousy and selfishness and all those things that we as a star seed and as a collective, as light workers, we are finally picking up on the signals that, hey, you know what? There is more to what's being presented. There's more behind the veil that is available to us. And just like you, I've encountered in March this, I should say, so dark soul of the night or dark night of the soul. And in my desire to figure out, hey, what is going on? Because in February and January, hey, we had it all figured out, right? But then March came around and threw a curveball to us, to our ascension, and to our life stories, right? Where we have abandoned our life stories and we're moving into, hey, what else can we do to step into our authenticity, to step into our true potential, to step into the life that we love to live, to step into attracting and magnetizing towards us things that we love doing, things that we know we're worthy, or at least we're learning that we're worthy and we're desiring to have this, right? Be it maybe a relationship, a partnership, a new partner, right? As a star seed and as a light worker, longing to actually meet your twin flame that will help you further, into your ascension and skyrocketing you to right and giving at the same time to your true path, that and your soul mission that you came here to actually embody and to actually live and in authenticity and feel and remember the memories of these past lifetimes that we're remembering. And during this, March dark night of the soul, I've stumbled upon new research that has completely blown my mind. And I'm here to say, hey, I will bring this to you because I want you to know what I've known, right? what I've discovered and what I know. And in with this, I'm so feeling so blessed that actually I can incorporate this new knowledge into my teachings and into my workshops and mentorships that I can offer to you and bring them to you, because we all deserve to know this at this moment in time, right? So as you see behind me, I have, oh, sorry, I have our beautiful diagram with the different with the different techniques, and actually the essential, I should say, the essential point that actually will further explain what do we go through, and how the dark matrix that we all got born into actually is trying to cap us from ascending, is capping us from living our true authentic life. And you can envision that as, let's say, one thing to envision that is remembering, okay, do you remember when you're in school or your kids are in school, right? So you're, as a starseed or as a light worker, right, you have this awareness that there's something more to it, right? And then you're blessed, and we're blessed, having children, and we're raising these beautiful children, as toddler babies and toddlers and 4 or 5 years old, to step into that knowledge that we know and that we are remembering, right? And then what happens? Most of us are bringing our beautiful children and we're enrolling them into our school system, right? The beautiful school system, in quotes, right? And sooner than later, maybe just right after the first day of school or maybe the second day of school, your children are coming back home, and you see that they are like completely, like, they're feeling tormented, they're having tantrums, they're having a complete meltdown, to the point where the next day your heart breaks in even bringing them to school, right into the 3D matrix school that we all grew up into, right? And with that, that is the first signal that there is something wrong with the world we live in. And if you are a Christian, or if you are a star seed or a light worker or a Wicca, or a witch or an entrepreneur, regardless of the religious, or regardless of your spiritual affiliation, we all have the same thing in common. And what is the same thing in common? That we grew up in a system that we knew already it was hijacked. We knew already it was sold out, and we were forced to belong into it, right? Like from kindergarten all the way to grade 12 or in college, we were forced to live in this matrix, into the school system, which is the symbol. What is education? Is the symbol of the matrix we live in. If I have anything to say, I almost wished, the Matrix and Neo and his beautiful team to actually witness or explore the school system, because the school system, in any system available, right, we live on this planet, so in any school system is the representation and the symbol of the society we live in, right? And we have many different systems here on earth, right? Communist regimes. Like myself, I grew up in behind the curtain wall, right? I grew up in Romania, which is right south of Ukraine and Moldova, and we grew under the Russian regime, right? And it was a very strict Russian regime, right? There are, like, we have the North Korean, we have the Chinese system, we have the American or the Western world system, right? The capitalist versus the communist. However, each of the systems at the forefront of their system of living or exploring, or I should say, at the forefront of each system, there is a big label that's plastered onto this, regime, right? Whatever that is. And that is the educational system, right? And the educational system is the one who does the programming, who does the brainwashing, who does, um, right? Like, tempering down, or kind of like, or guiding, in their own words, guiding how you should function in the society, who you should be, what you should think, what you should say, what you should do to be successful in this whatever regime you growing up into. However, all these are simply a representation, right? Like a bit like a hand, of the 3D matrix. And Neo should have actually, in my opinion, you should have actually talked about what is happening to our children, and talking about indoctrination, and talking about spirit breaking, and spirit um, famine, right? Like inducing, like a famine, or like a starving of soul spiritual development, right? And you can see how that is all, it's still layered, right? It's still layered in this system. Of course, in the school systems, we still have, good people, and good people who are aware of what's happening, or good people who don't know what is happening, but like movies, or like Hollywood, who are telling us what's happening because that's in their agenda, right? They're telling us they need to tell, they actually, it's a pre-coded law in the 3D matrix. They say, well, everybody has a choice. They have a choice, but guess what? If you are not informed of what's happening, then, well, I guess your choices are limited. But it's not on them, right? It's not on the on this societies, or dark matrix, Luciferian, nefarious entities who survive of us, right? They're like sucking our soul away, and our energy away, and our joy away, and and therefore they're saying, well, I mean, we told you what's the problem, right? You knew what this is happening. I mean, you have your choice. You make your choices. You're free, darling. You're free. Just choose what you want. But if you don't know what your choices are and what your options are, how would you make an informed choice? And this is where, myself, being blessed to be able to do all this work and bring it to you, and my sisters and brothers in the Starseeds community, and the Lightworkers community, in the business community, who are aligning themselves, right, with their soul mission on the planet. And they figured out, okay, what's the formula for that to still survive and thrive as a star seed, right, as a light worker, as a yogi, as a healer, as a shaman, right? And all of us have gone through the same process. And the process being that we actually, while being brainwashed, while being completely numbed, right? Like your soul gets numbed. You're void of emotions. Your emotions are sucked away, right? And be it in the school, or in college, or in a new government job, or into the corporate world jobs, or as a teacher, or even as a factory worker, right? Seeing these discrepancies, And if you are aware, as soon as you ask the first question, wait a second, what is happening here? And why is this necessary? Because we already know that is not necessary. As soon as you ask your first question of why, you know then, or you should know that you are then on your path to ascension, on your path of self awareness, increasing and bringing up the frequency of the entire earth to actually um, uh, emerge and I should I'm trying to I love gardening, so I'm like trying to make a connection, to gardening, like a flower, right? Like was put in the seed was put in over winter in the dark soil and being pressed and being like squeezed in the dark and not knowing what the heck is happening. If a seed would have to say so or would talk to us and tell us her story, that is what be. I'm like, okay, so I'm like beautiful seed, I belong to this flower. I know I'm a seed of like, daisies, because I love daisies, for example, right? And you put the seed in soil because you as a creator, right? Because a higher spirit or as a source, it's for its own good, right? You're trying to make more daisies, bring daisies more to life. But the poor seed does not know what's happening. She gets pushed down the soil, in the soil, and covered up, and you're like, what the is happening? Like, why am I here for? Right? Like, this is nonsense. Like, oh my god, I'm feeling squeezed and it's dark and where's my people? I feel alone, right? As a little seed, right? So then finally starts emerging, like it's first. Oh, never mind. It gets watered too. I'm like, oh my god, like I'm drowning in my own soul. What is happening, right? Can I cry? And it finally starts shedding its capsule. So its capsule that's encapsulated in, and finally spring comes and you're finally starting to push through the soil, right? And you're emerging as a seedling, and by doing that, because I'm comparing, let's say, a daisy seed with us star seeds, with us light workers, with the indigo tribe, with the light warriors, the ones who are starting to emerge out of the dark matrix. Remember the people who are like pushing us down, like, no, you stay there, you don't need to do anything, you just get back in there, right? Them not even knowing that actually helping us to grow and evolve, because that's their mission, right? The matrix, the 3D matrix, that is their mission, right? They're fallen angelics and they think, well, that's what I'll be doing. I'll be like sucking the life out of your people, out of your little seeds, because what that's I can do. And if you don't flourish, too bad, right? So finally, we're emerging out of this and we're becoming the little seedling, right? I was like, oh, look, oh my God, there's like a big blue sky out there. Oh my gosh, there's sun, there's so much more. Oh my God, I can see there's more there, right? People like me, or like star seeds like me, or like little plants, like little daisy flowers, like myself, right? That you get this hope and you move further up. Well, darling, in my past research in the past month, what I've discovered is two, well, I should say three techniques that will actually accelerate our ascension process. And here it is. So I'm going to move this. I'm going to turn the camera a little bit around, and before I do that, for the ones who just joined us, I'm Deanna Reales Brown. I'm a teacher. I'm a kindergarten teacher, actually, and I'm a mom of two daughters. They're older now. They're in their 20s, and actually, my oldest one just turned 30. And I live in Washington State. I'm married. I have like two dogs, and I love animals. I'm like, oh my god, I love anything that has fur. And I like dolphins, and I love the ocean, I love water. And and because of everything that I love, I started to finally become a water priestess. In all this, I became a quantum ascension coach because this is what I'm drawn to, right? That's what I feel in my spirit and in my heart to help everybody, just like I was helped, by my guardians and by my mentors, and grow, right? And step into let's say a business model that we're doing right now, my family does, and step into a business model that actually caters to people like us, caters to starseeds, caters to light workers, caters to soul aligned businesses, right? That and helps us move along, creating a legacy income. So let me present you the little. This is our first video in a mini series of ascension symptoms into activating the priestess of wealth and activating the priestess, which is the person, right? Your goddess inside, your channel inside that you're connecting with daily, that you're learning to step into and listening to your intuition, to your own guides from higher sources, and bringing all those technology, right, advanced light technology into embodying and anchoring on a daily basis who you are, living an authentic life. Well, what I discovered in this past month is that I've run into, I should say, I've run into Ashina's Dean research that she started, although she got downloaded in the late 1990s, right? And then finally now this is becoming a common knowledge for star season light workers, and it actually does merge with quantum reality, with how quantum mechanics works. And then what I did, I added my own interpretation to this and my own flavor, just because I was privy to grow, in a different format. And I always question, actually, how do we get something downloaded, but then are we sure that we're actually downloading the precise and the most pure technology to ascend? So this research that I'm talking about, you should know, and if you're interested and curious how this works, you can actually it's sorry. We are talking about ascension mechanics, okay? From there have been souls and star season light workers, especially in the Indigo tribe, who came from the future or who have connections to higher dimensions, transharmonic dimensions that are above us. And as a small example, the most easy example is our vision. What we see in the light spectrum, I think it's maybe just 1% of the actually the entire light spectrum, right? We do not see ultraviolet, x-rays, oh my god, gamma rays, right? We do not see. So it's on the band of light spectrum we only see, a little pinky. And that is a cautionary tale, because it tells us, hey, we gotta be more aware of what we're actually seeing out there, how we're interpreting, because it could be that we don't know the full story. So let me turn the camera around, and what I have here expressed, I draw, and I try to make a Zoom meet for us for this specific meeting and transmission, but I couldn't figure out the mirror camera. And what I did, actually, ended up writing in reverse, so you guys can see it. Okay, like, I'm a kindergarten teacher, I can read in reverse and I can write in reverse. Okay, because we got trained in this. We have little 5 years olds around us, and they're all like writing, and you got to see like in mirror, tipped over, right? So I got this, darling. So this is what we have, and this is where we what is happening. So we right now on planet Earth, right? If you open the news channel, you listen to TV, you're opening your radio, you look around, people are arguing, the wars going around, and there's crime and shootings, and oh my God, like you name it, right? It's a terrible world to live in. However, all that we live in, it's only the first harmonic universe. Okay? Quantum mechanics supports this this theory, this transmission, then that Sheena Dean, oh my God, I think I misspelled her name, but it supports that. And this is what I kind of like when I download something, or when I run across something, I like to double check, okay, so is this kind of aligning itself with the body of knowledge that we have, and is it is it plausible that that would be another step forward. So what we have here, this is a call it, you call it Vesica Pisces, right? Is the and we're very know we know about this specific diagram, the Venn diagram that we all use in teaching and education, and it tells us, okay, so there's a bipolar world we live in, positive and negative, right? Because this is how this all was, and this is in the middle here, right? So, in the first harmonic universe, the world we live in, where I told you, where there are all those wars, and people are mean and angry, and just like, just like really yucky people, right? The ones that you don't want to hang out when you go out to the pub, maybe. Like those people, right? Like, oh, what the heck? What is that, right? I really don't want to hang out with those guys. Well, that is this harmonic universe, first harmonic universe is actually capped. So, meaning it's capped because the fallen angels, and so the fallen angels and the archons and the nefarious entities do not want our little blue planet. I'm sorry. I got back to my they, the mean they. Well, they don't want us really to go and evolve past this stage. And this is why our Earth was capped and only got given portals for ascension beginning with 2000 and beginning with 2012. So, and this is how this works, right? The more people know, the higher the rate of awareness, and the more increase in frequency becomes our society. This is how we all evolve. We don't live in medieval times anymore. And you can imagine if this information would have been given to, let's say, somebody in medieval times who lived then, would be totally considered, like witchcraft, or like, I don't know, like something really bad. They would darling, like you and I, if I remember correctly, we all got burned to the stake. Okay, it's very simple. That's the conclusion of all this, right? We all got burned to the stake. I remember the fire and the flames eating down my legs, and I was like, oh my God, what the heck is this? We don't deserve this, right? But it's all a learning process. And the more we know, the more we actually activate the conscious field. And therefore, we kind of like little seedlings, the daisy seedlings, right? We're like poking their head up, and then sooner than later, nature kicks in, takes over through quantum mechanics, and sooner than later is a big, field of daisies, right? Like weeds, darling. I feel very comfortable saying I feel like a weed. All right. Many times, and like you guys, star workers and light workers, right? Or the indigo tribe, and the Blu-rays, and how many times have we been put down? How many times have we been sprayed with toxic chemicals, spiritual chemicals, right? How many times have we been plucked away from the driveway and from the field? Like, oh my God, you're a weed. I don't want you here. You're like a little dandelion. I don't want you, darling. How many times have we come back? And this is why our work is important, right? This is why your work is important. And if whenever from this transmission, anything that resonates with you, you take it, you integrate it in your own field of consciousness, right? And you permit you it further and further until it finally, these portals are becoming wider and wider and wider. So, because the archons, the entities, the aliens, right, the Anunnaki, the Greys, and all those like nefarious, the Orion tribes, some of them, not all of them, because I have memories of. I actually have a memory. I will just quickly share this with you. I have a memory of living in. Living in on Orion, but in Orion constellation, but not in the Menatac water world, but in the Alnitak system, right, with the solar, with the suns. Where actually I was a peacemaker, talking and actually helping and negotiating peace treaties between two warring Orion tribes. Okay, so that's my thing on it, right? Anyways, so that's a long time ago. But I do, like you, have a lot of like memories that are flaring back up to life because our DNA gets um, activated, right? Reactivated, and we're finally remembering, new sequences, memory sequences encoded in our DNA and some dormant DNA strands, or in the antimatter DNA strands that are waiting to be materialized or like manifested, right? And this is how we start remembering all this with the incoming pulse lights, with the incoming light frequency and light transmissions coming from our central sun, right? So this is what we have here. So we live in the first harmonic universe, and we live in a bipolar. Let me just turn this around. In a bipolar world, right? There's good and bad. There's, nice people and ugly people, or like mean people, right? We're being, we always have like, we're looking at something, it could be bad, sorry, good or bad, right? um Somebody said something, or we heard somebody. Let's say I go into a room, I open the door, let's say I go into my meeting, right? If I'm a teacher or whatever, at your job, right? You go into a room, or in your family, right? And you open the door, and there's people, and they're your family or your coworkers, and they're talking about something, right? But somehow you overhear the last three words. Okay, how many times that has happened? And let's be honest. I'm honest. I know this has happened to me, right? And I hear those last three words, but I don't really know the context of what's happening. So what does then my psyche, the programmed psyche, do? What does it do? It interprets it, the last three words, right? Let's say, oh, of course, she is, I don't know, she has an accent. Okay, I'll go with my accent because that's my life story, right? So I go into the room and I open the door, and these lovely ladies or men, whatever, in their meeting. I'm late to my meeting, and they're going, and I open the door, and that's what the last three words I hear in the sentence. Oh, it's her accent. Oh, what do you think would happen? Well, it did happen. It did happen. Like, I'm like, what? So my psyche took over, right? My programmed software encoded with bipolar interpretation kicks in, because that's what we knew only. And of course, what did I say? I'm like, oh my God, you guys are talking about me, right? And of course, I go this way into the negative polarity, and I'm sure you guys talk about me. I'm like so sure because I have this feeling something is wrong with me, my accent, right? So, and you can see how much trouble this creates, right? The smaller things it become like a snowball effect and rolling down, right? Oh my God, I'm never going to talk to these ladies again because, I saw you. I know, I'm just going to make up names, number one and number two, because I don't want to put names on anybody. But or I don't want to give names, I should say, from my work. But right, and I'm like, oh, that's it. I know you're talking about me. So we're going to the bipolar mode. Well, even if we try actually to step out of this mode, let's say we're becoming more aware of it, of what's happening, we are capped. We are actually, due to a code inserted into the 3D matrix and into our DNA system, we are coded to not go past this bipolar event, bipolar interpretation, right? The tree of life where Eve took the apple, the tree of life who had good and bad, and Eve darling, of course it's always the women who are like breaking the world and moving, pushing the envelope. Good for us. Because we have the talent to do this, darling, and we have the capacity and the brain mentality to actually do this. And this is why we have this feminine new energies coming in. So we are at a stage in our earth consciousness that we're evolving, and we need back the woman, the matriarchal women's mode of operandis, right? So we are capped not to go past this bridge, I should say, right? The bridge is closed. So this is what I've discovered. Actually, and quantum physics support, quantum mechanics supports this. We are not the only universe we live. So this we live in the first harmonic universe. But the moment we're asking questions, the moment we actually wake up in the morning and we're asking, like, what the heck is the purpose of this world again? I mean, why would I be stuck in traffic for 3 hours only to go to slave more for a corporate world that only serves itself, and meanwhile have starving children and abused women and abused children and right, like all these like stuff that's being hidden from us, right? Because we're like led to believe that this is our dream. We're led to believe and coded and invited, so to speak, or programmed, I would say, right, through Hollywood movies and through the educational system, to believe that this is what we really want. We should want this. I want to be a corporate person, I want to be in management, and I want to make a lot of money only to buy more TVs because one won't be enough. Maybe I have like 3 TVs, as big as my walls, and I have 4 big cars and very expensive cars, and nothing wrong with having those. But my point is that if we actually live our life, our only purpose is to self-serve, then we live here. If we're actually living to help others and serve others, like I know how you guys are, who are joining me always here, right? Your healers, your shamans, your light warriors, you are you're meant for more, and that desire will carry you through the next harmonic universes. And you have here, I should say, this is the I should say different, sorry, this was the second harmonic universe. Okay, I'm trying to write in reverse, you guys. Not as easy as you think. Really, watch me. Okay, so and then this is the third harmonic universe. Okay, so what? And there is actually 12 harmonic universes, or 15. I gotta check on that again. As presented in Ashina's Dean's transmissions that she got. So in these teachings, And quantum mechanics supports it. We live in a multitude of universes, quite entangled, actually, moment by moment, second by second, where actually time does not exist. Time is an illusion. Hence, how often have you had days when, oh my God, I think my puppy needs to go potty. Give me a second. Um, Let me finish this train of thought and I'll be right back. So, how many times have we had days when it felt like this day is like is so long? I thought it'd be like 9 o'clock, or it feels like it's 9 o'clock in the nighttime, but like, my goodness, it's only 5 o'clock. Like, what the heck is happening? And then you look around and you ask your friends and you can hear them. This day is so like long. It feels long, but actually short, right? So it's our perception of how things are happening, meaning that the only true reality is the moment, the present moment. And this is where I want you to kind of build awareness around that perfect quantum mechanics. We only live in the now. So I'm going to make a little, and I'm going to actually make in my diagram, I'm going to say, okay, this is my now. This little star here is the now. And I want you to envision it as like a column of nows. Okay, so this is like actually like it's like a cylinder. Okay, I hope you like my little column, my little star column, because this is very important. This little now moment, second by second or nanosecond by nanosecond, is the driving force that actually helps us navigate our life and helps us actually move, let's say, from here, from the 3D. So this is my now. Okay, this is my little star right now, right? My little marker is becoming the now column. And this now column has the capacity of actually drawing into um, information from the source and anchoring itself, so manifesting down at the bottom, right? And it makes perfect sense. This marker represents the now moment, how it's actually expressed in quantum mechanics and in ascension mechanics. So this has the potential, right? Inside the marker, there's all this ink, okay? But this ink got put in by source, whoever the source you would like to call. Well, now it holds a potential. So at the end, so source inputted ink inside. Now it holds a potential in the now. And at the bottom is the manifesting point in the now. And I have the choice, just like writing with this marker, I have you and your sister and your brother and your child and our kids and our husbands and boyfriends and all these people, billions of people on this planet, each single moment are using our choice, our co-creator choice to choose what do we want to experience. So do I want to be in the positive? Do I want to be happy today? I'm getting my happy face there. Or maybe I want to have, be grumpy and I just refuse altogether to be happy because, like, I don't know, I just hate my life, right? Or I just don't feel good enough about myself today and I just hate everything, right? Can I be here or I can be here? It's my own choice. I did I did a like sad face over there, the negative side right there. Or do I go through this portal provided, right, and experience the next harmonic universe or the next harmonic universe, right? And I keep going, or even that. And there's many, many, many parallel worlds that we don't see. And they are all separate. All these harmonic universes are actually separated by magnetism. So they're kept, usually they've always been kept away from each other. So it's almost like an invisible wall, like an invisible layer of of like a time space, um, where we don't see the next one, right? So I don't see my next best version of myself, nor do I see my version of myself that, let's say, if I woke up this morning and decided, in contrary to, I don't know, maybe be depressed in bed and go on the covers and cover my. I like covering myself. I take all my blankets, and I'm sure you do too. And I cover my head, and that's it. I'm hiding from the world, and I don't want ever to emerge. And when is this world ever going to end already? Because I'm so tired of it, right? But there's all choices. Right? And the only reason why I actually got out of bed and say, okay, my gosh, I have enough of this, I want to inspire you. I want you to be the one to say, "Oh my gosh, I want you to have a better life," right? I'm a kindergarten teacher, so I love everybody, right? Regardless, and everybody gets stickers in my tribe, all right? So you can appreciate my where I'm coming from, but I do have, especially this March. Oh my gosh, it was horrible. Like I'm like, what's the point in living here? Because everything goes wrong, everything is bad. And then finally, mucking away through all this nonsense and all this goo, I finally find again a little spark of like, oh my gosh, I love my people. I will come back to you guys and I want to tell you all about it because this is important, right? And maybe if I don't use it, maybe you'll use it, or maybe your tribe will use it. So, here, this is where we are. So, this is our potential now moment that can travel wherever we choose to go. However, there's one thing that the archons and the negative entities and Anunnaki and the fallen angels and whatever you want to call it, darling. You can call it Satan. If you're a Christian, you can call it, the devil. You can call it like nefarious entities or energies. And maybe they don't know any better, or maybe they do. We don't know. However, wouldn't it be nice to be staying clear of those, whatever those are, right? So, what has happened, this jump over this capping that we had, that we couldn't um, go higher than our third chakra. So our third chakra was capped away, to and was very few of us could have access to, to the heart chakra, expression, throat chakra, seeing through the ajna chakra, right into the future and into connecting into the conscious field of the earth and interplanetary multi-universes, right? Multi layers of reality, and even go further, right? Ascending masters. So this diagram here that you see is actually um, the real way of reality that has been hidden from us. And this is the difference. This here, the polarities, the bipolar reality in the first harmonic universe, they never connect back to the source, right? So they are so entrenched into, oh my God, this person said this and this person said that, and like all that bipolar, or make some people, especially in the religious, some in the Christian communities, right? They get the, only this is allowed, and only this, like, very, you can hear in the voice, you can hear it actually in the way it's present, in the way it's expressed. We're only going towards the positive. Oh, we are only allowed to be happy, darling. We only have to be nice. We're not allowed to cry. We're not allowed to complain. We're not allowed to have down days. And that is, against, that's an inorganic reality that has no access to a source, to divine source, and therefore it eats on itself. So if this person here says, oh, I'm going to be so happy today, they're actually latching on to the other side through a polar reverse of um, intake of energy. So they are happy, but they are blaming everybody else for so it's a very It feels, I'm going to give you an example. It feels like a forced, we are going to be nice today and smile. And we're not going to say anything, okay? And that's it. And not allowing your shadow to surface, or to your shadow memories or your shadow emotions to actually have a voice. Or we're going to the other side where like everything is negative, everything is bad, blah blah, and they'll go grumpy and mad, and like, I know, like negative people, right? But they're latching back into these positive people because they're hating then everybody else. So these people here, they're hating the people who are happy. The happy people are hating actually the people who are not happy and mean, right? Like, why is my life always so I'm always such a good person, but nobody is around me a good person? Well, tell you what, darling, once you understand this secret, that none of this is real, and actually the real path to ascension, and this is all from ascension mechanics and how I interpreted it, is actually jump into the portal and understand the real, and this is in your second harmonics, where actually life happens. So this is an organic structure. In the middle, and the easiest example to envision is the cellular division, right? When a baby is born, or so the baby is is concepted. The baby is born, darling. You had sex, and now you have a baby happening, right? Or anything in this life. What happens is it comes first. It has a source of light, of cosmic light, of energy. Light is penetrating everywhere. Sound and light are together working in this harmonics universes, intertwining themselves to create reality. So source happens first, then from source in the antimatter, a parallel universe, so it's like a mini parallel universe, the first manifestation of first cell happens, which is the first cell here. So this is your first spark. So this is a spark of life. This one here becomes the first cell, or the first nano, not the electron, but the first material moment. So I would actually probably put mine now right there. This is where it first begins. So here it's nothing. This doesn't even exist. It has the potential for my marker to exist over here. But over here in the matter plane, when it first manifests itself, it becomes it, right? Well, this is the first stage. Then there is a second, in a second mirror of it, where it becomes an antimatter particulate, or nanoparticle, like very 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 tiny in the universe around us. So at the base of everything that we see around us, from material, clothing, cell phone, marker, chairs, grass and flowers and hair and everything around us, this is the blueprint in the second harmonic that actually helps to evolve, like has a spark of life, right? Being a crystal, or it manifests itself. So at this stage, the second particle here is an antimatter particle. But you see, this little particle here from antimatter only had two branches going out, right? You can see this in the trees, in the branches, like going from one branch, or from in the stem, or let's say the seedling, right? The seedling. Here's the seedling here. It evolves, finally it merges, right? And then it starts branching. The two leaves are coming out, and then that first leaf starts evolving further. So the purpose of the spark of life and manifesting itself is to further out into these branches, and each of them becoming a new antimatter particle. Now, the manifest, this is very important because if we understand this blueprint of life, then we understand how manifestation works, including, maybe manifesting your new boyfriend, or manifesting children, or manifesting a business, a solo line business that brings money in, or that brings sustaining life, wealth that supports us to further become who we are. However, as you see, very different in this world. We can't build, I say we cannot build, let's say, a sustaining business. We cannot manifest a partner, a husband, or a boyfriend or girlfriend, or like a partner that will be supporting our relationship in an authentic way, right? In the lovable way. Why? Because the both people will like feed off each other, and they'll have arguments, and they'll have this and that, right? Bickering at each other. While this is actually more sustainable because it feeds back into the source, right? So the two people, for example, would the two people here, like one here, one and one, right? They'll go, okay, so here, I mean, I should say, because they're materialized, right? They'll go back to the source, right? They'll find when they can't help each other anymore or love each other enough, they'll actually go back into themselves, into the antimatter particle, right? Into the antimatter source, as a column, if you wish, and they find beauty there, and they found energy there that's supporting and sustaining whatever we are envisioning being, being a car, or a business, or a relationship, or a house, or I don't know, darling, maybe our trip to Vegas, or trip to the beach, or like anything that you want to manifest will be sustainable if we follow this blueprint. So here is the nature of these two particles that have emerged, which this is actually a Tri-Veca. So this is a biveca, the biveca particles that are that are emerging, right? Feeding off each other in bipolar, biveca. This is a Tri-Veca, meaning each of these particles has a chance to always go back to the source. When now this matter here, the matter particle is a magnetic particle. It attracts to itself more energy from its antimatter source. Okay? So it means that, sure, I have a vision, right? Okay, I want to do this. Let's say, I'm trying to give you an example. So my example would be for this matter particle. Let's say I want a new car. Okay, here it is. I want a new car. Okay, me, the source. I think I'm the source because I have the money to turn. I can go buy my car, right? I pretend I'm the source. But if you think I am this, if I would think that I am the source because, oh, I have the money, or I just got like $10,000, I'm going just to spend on a brand new car, and I'm just going to have a grand, beautiful car, or whatever. If I think I'm the source, you're stuck up here. So guess what's going to happen? You're going to have your brand new car, but you're also going to get, in the first day, going to have an accident with that brand new car, and then you still get, because it can't feed from the source, from its energy source. It actually has to feed of itself, so it's really eating on its own in degradation, actually. And this is actually where the Fibonacci spiral comes in, and I'm going to talk about that in another video. So I'll say this is where the Fibonacci spiral comes in, the mathematical sequence that actually is finite, and this is why you always see it in shells and in carcasses that are encapsulating the whatever the source energy. They're like not really blooming, they are like building a shell more and more and more. And this is why you see them, people, let's say It's a single mom who is really wanting to go, becoming a manager, right? We finished, we got our masters, and like, oh my God, now I'm going to be very wealthy and I'm going to make money because I got this amazing corporate job and I'm just going to do that. And I'm inventing something from the source, but then I'm going to plaster it inside the corporate job, and therefore I'm going to be sent on a goose chase to, let's say, bring my ideas and sell them, or even as a teacher. All right, I took all the I jumped through all the hoops to get my license until I finally, because that's what I thought was of required of me, I'm finally able to become the source of my own creation, let's say teaching, but now I have to apply only constricting rules, right? That actually, every time I apply my constricting rules, right, telling all my kids in the classroom, oh my God, stop talking. That's not what we're doing right now. You're not allowed to talk. You're not allowed to jump. No, you're supposed to sit and only write pencil and pen. That's not what you're doing. You're not here to be creative. You're not here to do this. Oh, we have to go eat, but you're not allowed to talk while you're eating. Blah, blah, blah. And because I can go and have like hours and hours of how inappropriate and how wrong and how false that is, killing the little children, killing their soul and killing their spirits. Why? Because it's finite. It does not allow to expand, it does not allow to expand compared to the second blueprint of creation, where we actually always are allowed to be coming back to source. So let's say if this is my classroom here, what I can do is allowing all these people who are in my classroom, who have been the children who are materializing my classroom as my students, I allow them to be happy. I allow them to be inspired and to be spontaneous. Oh my gosh, do you guys want to write your ABCs now? I'm a kindergarten teacher, right? You write your ABCs now, or do you feel like just dancing? Let's put music and dance, or let's stumble on the ground. Let's have fun, right? This is what we're supposed to be doing. Have fun, go outside, have a recess, just be happy. Go back to the source, right? And that feeds them the material life. However, all this is still done for nothing if we don't consider its antimatter particle. So these children here that I have them in my classroom, or let's say your car, now that you say, oh my gosh, I just feel like, I know source will give me the right finances to get a car, because I do need a car. Why? It goes right there, it feeds you into the upper level. I could call this up here actually a 2 point, like 1.5, right? One half level, sorry, a half level up from this material harmonics. Because in the end, it all spins in a spiral, feeding. If it feeds from the source, it spins further up and grows. It's a growing process. And nature in itself, like leaves and everything that's organic, grows in this way. This is why everything spins, right? Because it feeds from the source, it materializes, but that in order to create babies, it will actually still feed from an antiparticle matter, from its invisible mirror-like um, uh, image of itself. So then, if I say my children can have, sure, they're very spontaneous, but what if we allow these children now to create something more, right? Inadvertently, organics feeds into itself, feeds from the source, so it has a connection to the source here, and it blooms and it further wants to develop. So then you see children, let's say, if your kid, even your own children, right, in the house, they say, oh my God, if we allow them to be who they are and we're not putting constrictive rules on them all the freaking time, if we allow them, what would you like to do today? Like, ask the question. Then they'll say, oh my gosh, I feel like I know, let's paint something, or let's plant trees, or let's create something, or let's go to grandma and visit her because maybe we want to see her, make her happy. All right, or have a lemon stand with juice, a juice lemon stand, right? And you know how those go, right? There's not much material coming in, no much money. However, the thought counts, the desire counts, that will support the person or the materialized thing. And what it does, it feeds back onto it. So what happens is, if you finally materialized here, allow it to express itself for a good reason, then it starts creating a resonance with its antiparticle, its anti sorry, I should say its mirror image. The mirror image is electric. Okay, so here's where we have our feelings. I can't write. I have to. I can. I'm just going to put the F for you, but it's like in the. Is that an F for you? It says a 7. I can't really tell. I think it's an F. So that's your feeling. They're magnetic. So you have to feel it through. As soon as you start feeling, you are finally developing your mirror image, right? So the mirror image of the car, the mirror image of these children who are now wanting to create. And by doing so, this being an electric, it sends an electrical current back to the source. And what it does, it springs forward again and feeding back into the magnetic. So it's almost like a triangle that feeds on itself, feeds itself from the source, creating more and more. So then your car becomes a has a higher purpose. You can start, let's say you start having ideas. Maybe I can, help my neighbors go get their groceries, or maybe we can do instead of I know my neighbors always take the bus or the car broke down. Hey, let's drive them over, or carpool together, or there's a higher level of awareness and consciousness helping your neighborhood, helping your community, helping Mother Earth to heal itself. So this is the difference then of between capped creation in bipolar mode, where it all dies, really, because that's its end. It's finite, it does not evolve, right? And as shaman or healers or yogi or coaches, we do have these businesses, and we want to do things, but we're not really tapping into, okay, well, what is the higher purpose, right? And this is where, if we actually go by the second reality blueprint, the one that feeds itself into higher harmonics, it actually manifests whatever your desire is here. It manifests if actually you allow it to be serving a higher purpose. And this is why the archons and um, the slave masters, darling, who, just like in Egypt and just like in the old times, who were self-serving themselves and keeping the humanity at the low level of unawareness, right? Um, this is why we're for so long trapped into this matrix. And now we finally have more guidance, and more star seeds have finally anchored themselves and got reborn onto this 3D matrix, right? They have volunteered to embody into a human body to actually help humanity to reach that mass tipping point. Remember, like in Mulan, where they say, oh my God, it's just one grain of rice takes to tip the balance, right? And what did Mulan do? I know I'm the old school here. It's Mulan 1, darling, not Mulan 2. I don't know if it's a Mulan 3, but I love Mulan, okay? And Pocahontas and all those beautiful Disney stories, the nice ones, right? Where what did they do? They actually, right, Pocahontas and Mulan and these heroes, they actually returned back to the source, right? They returned back to the source. They asked Mother Nature, they asked their grand elders, their spiritual elders. They asked, the tree, the grandmother tree, the grandmother river, right? Like natives do, like in their wisdom, or like shamans do, right? They accessed the wisdom of the source, of the divine infinite source, which lives everywhere around us. We live embedded in it, but we don't see it because we're capped. And the archons, darling, might I'd add, or I call them archons, but I mean, they are like the nefarious fallen angelics and Anunnaki and the war races and the draconians and you name it. Well, they don't understand. I mean, they do understand, but there is a little trick where if we star seeds evolve not just past the third harmonics, but we manage to actually access the 15th harmonic. I think it's I think it's the 13th harmonic actually. Harmonic universes, which are layered just like pancakes, a stack of pancakes, and you just dip your fork in it, okay? Just like that. Well, the archons cannot access the third harmonic universe. So there's a bunch of codes and recodes that we have access to understand and recode our ways, because everything at its basis, so everything at its basis is sound and light in frequency, intertwining each other in a transharmonic universe, right? In a transharmonic way of embedding itself in and out, and creating gravity vortexes that bring into existence. And the gravity vortexes would actually happen here. So this would be your chakras, all your chakras. This would be what you see through your eyes. This would be all your neurons in your brain. This would be every cell and like neuron and every cell of everything around us that exists. But you know how Jesus said that we can actually, if we would have the faith of a mustard seed, would could move mountains. And as a cautionary tale and a little disclaimer for myself, and this is the whole purpose of this series that I'm starring today, is that I grew up in a Baptist religious family. However, I, as a star seed and very, very early on aware of everything, I always questioned, okay, and always very discerning, trying to discern, okay, what's real, what's not, and seeing this bipolar, let's say in the religious beliefs, right, that they interpret the Bible so strictly, I could see, right, how everybody has a spark of the seed of the truth. But by the time they allowed this plant to grow, because they live, most of them, in the bipolar world, in order for them to create and hold on to their truth, they have to minimize the other group's truth. So then they'll say, oh, this religion is bad. Oh my goodness, you're Catholic. Oh no, you're bad. Oh my gosh, you tried, you know, or oh, you're a Wicca. Oh no, that's bad because we're good, but you're bad. And here's the trick. If you're a Wicca, let's say, right, you have access and you understand your inner truth, but in a different way, then you're here and there's, oh no, all those Christians are bad. Oh my God, they all talk this language and it's like terrible language. They're like pissing me off with their language, right? The Christian language. And I'm here, darling, to tell you, and this is my disclaimer, my purpose in all my programs and in all my, so the programs I'm developing in my business that I bring an anchor into my life and into, my online business that I'm anchoring, I'm here to proclaim that the truth is actually like this marker, is stationary in one little spark. All right, it's like a spark. The truth itself, the inner truth that oh my God, feels truthful to me. If you're trying to that spark of truth, if you are trying to say my truth is the best but your truth is wrong, so let's say you have this truth, this is my wand, it's called a numite wand, crystal, and access and helps with downloading ancestral wisdom from the elders. So one marker, let's say my truth, this wand is your truth. Well, what happens is if I say my truth is the best but your truth is wrong, then you're automatically falling back into the bipolar world and never ever reaching your 5D new earth that we're all trying to ascend to. So through ascension mechanics, the moment we start saying my truth is best but yours is wrong, we're falling into this capped, finite polarity reality that has no access to source, to inner divine source. So in reality, and this is what quantum mechanics says, the entire reality is made in pillars of sparks that flow in and out at every single second. So truly, it's like if you would look, let's say if you take a picture of it, and let's say take a picture now, or take a picture of your room, or take a picture of your kids, of your dog, your the ocean or the tree. What happens is each picture or each element that is already like a more complex element, a more complex unit, organic or inorganic unit, is actually made out of a like a pixelated image. It's made of multiple points of contact from the source, like multiple points in space and time, right? So therefore, the chipping, the chipped quartz or the chipped, I don't know, ring, or I don't know, like a bread that crumbles. Actually, oh, you build the bread, you made, sorry, not build it, but you made the bread, you baked it, but actually, the bread itself is made of many little particles, like little crumbs. Very important to understand this method that is presented in the ascension mechanics, the organic Tri-Veca reality of creation versus the Bioveca reality of creation that's finite, when we're actually talking about one, accessing our intuition, two, manifest, having a positive mindset to access manifestation, three, bring to life what we desire and make it so it actually anchors itself, right? Like when you talk about a fleet of ships or like an army of ships, you have to imagine many boats, many ships side by side, but they all have their own anchor, right? This is the true reality of the world we live in. And as such, if more than half of your fleet, of more than half the boats burn, let's say they're burning or they're sinking, well, then you have less than half a fleet. Therefore, you're not going to go anywhere. You're not ascending. You're always going to be trapped in your own reality. Meaning, your new car will either break down, or you will lose your job, the new job that you tried really hard for, or you feel very unhappy in your job and you can't get out of it, or you'll never meet your boyfriend, you'll never meet your partner or your girlfriend, right? Or we will never have kids. I'm trying so hard to have kids, but my God, I can never have kids. What is happening? Well, this is what's happening, right? You tried too hard. If we try too hard, we end up in the bipolar world reality where nothing is happening. If we actually, you know what, leave it to the source. Oh well, the ones who are attracted to us will show up, right? And we live room for creation. We leave room for creation. So the source, through the Holy Spirit, through the net, through the sparks of light and sound and light that are still trying to reach us, if we let it have enough room, right, in your antimatter ideas and creation and contact back to source, then your reality is changing. You are going to have a better job. You are going to be authentic who you are. You are actually going to have kids or, get pregnant if you want, or as a couple or a single mom or whatever there is, right? You have your business, you attract clients, right? So this is my quick statement, I should say, of how we access our intuition and how we can actually, based on this exact model and the differences between the bipolar reality we live in compared to a source connected reality, the Tri-Veca system that is organic, that allows us to ascend, allows us to be more aware, become better, and therefore magnetize towards us people and circumstances that are beneficial to our own development, beneficial to them, right? And us in a resonant, reaching resonance. This is where between the two, when this is reaching resonance, between matter particle and antimatter particle, when these two finally equal themselves in frequency, then they access back the source and new layers are added to the new reality. New reality is being built. Okay, so I have my sorry, I have my marker here. It finally reached resonance with its antiparticle marker, and then this one here, oh my God, now suddenly maybe my husband will, I'll have a surprise. Somebody will come in and say, oh my gosh, I have a better marker for you, beautiful marker, or like a little golden thing around it or something. Oh my God, this is for your marker. So this is where the surprises come in, and life surprises us. So I'm going to end here, and for those who would like to know more, we're actually going to have a bi-weekly video and transmission that explains this kind of process more in detail, part of our 5 pillars to self-actualization. Remember, we want to self-actualize here, but we need to become resonant with what our desires are, our future vision of who we want to be, what our business should be looking like, how we want it to look like, right? Reaching back to the source, and we're going to have a conversation about what the source is and another time. And then finally, right, developing a better reality for us, right? A better home, a better job, more authentic, more happy, right? Happy, better feelings, better emotions. And in we're starting now our 2 weekly and bi-weekly transmissions explaining the blueprint of how we can actually self-actualize. And I have a new announcement to make. Actually, next week, I have a big surprise for all of you. And it's for, star seeds and light workers and healers and shamans We are having a, actually, I'm going to tell you next time, but I'm really, really happy, and you will have access to mentorship and a brand new, it's a 20-week series of webinars, and I'm going to give you more details next time. If you actually want to be part of that, of more of what this entitles and what can you do with this so you can actually thrive and survive, in your business. And as a, even if you don't have a business, if you don't know anything about online world, online digital business world, and just want to be happier and be a happier person and be joyful every single day, well, there's the essential mechanics, and combined with our that we're going to have our, it's going to be our 20, we have 20 weeks of webinars coming up, partnered up with our upcoming 9 weeks online course, actually, in the self actualization process, and we call it activating the priestess of wealth. But I do mean activating your priestess, regardless if you're a man or a woman, activating your inner priestess of light, activating your inner priest or priestess of beauty, activating your inner priestess of love. All that is meaning abundance, right? All that means wealth. When I talk about wealth, I mean abundance, but abundance on all levels. Okay. So if you want to know more and you want to be up to date, please like and subscribe. Hey, like and subscribe our video, our transmission, and sign up with our Activating the Priestess of Wealth Facebook group, where we are going to have all the links and more of the news that we're bringing to online, and transmissions and webinars and courses that we're here to provide for you, so you guys can actually make it to your desired point of existence, make it to your reality. And one more little thing, remember, Starseeds, remember, light workers, we are in the merging right now in the nexus point of the 3D matrix and the 5D Earth timeline we want to all ascend to. Maybe I should put it this way. This is a 3D matrix. You know who those people are, right there, kept all there and kept like, don't evolve, don't be happy, be unhappy, be sad and depressed if possible, and all that, self-service, and you know use all the resources of earth and kill all the animals, right, for their own good, because like, oh my god, it has to be that way, because that's how they're surviving the bipolar world. And our 5D world that we're trying to send to, right now we're in the 4th D, right? So we're kind of like going in and out, trying to actually make the best of each day. Well, right now these two timelines are actually in the nexus point, very, very, very close to each other. And this is what we experienced in March. It was almost like the 3D matrix is kind of like doing, like, I should do it this way, makes like a little, it did a little bumping into the our 4D 5D uh, timeline, where I'm like, oh no, I don't want to let you go, right? Those narcissist people are like, no, no, you can't leave me. Oh, no, no, I love you too much. You can't leave me because you helped me to be, self-centered and self-serving me. So that's what happened. This is what we experienced in March. But from now till the fall, and Ashina, I want to say Ashanti because that's my other name, but Ashina Dean, in her transmissions, right, she downloaded that the two timelines will actually intersect and then split forever in November. However, I always like to take everything with a grain of salt and kind of like refiltering it back to my understanding, because otherwise I won't be telling the truth. I wouldn't telling you my truth. Maybe your truth is a bit different than mine. Maybe your understanding is different. So I encourage you to actually read and find the source transmission is printed in the book The Voyagers series by Ashina Dean. And if you're interested to learn more, I can actually give you the free PDF files that I searched forever to find, because otherwise the books, you can't find them on Amazon or anywhere. They're going for $400, $1,000. Like, I guess they're that important. And, but if you want the free PDF files, text me, message me, you know where to find me. You can always find me on Facebook, right? And send me a message. And so, yeah, if you're curious about that, it is The Voyagers by Sheena Dean. And she had the full series of a bunch of books written. And this goes in the same venue with Dolores Cannon Transmissions. And if you are curious, direct message me and I'll help you to find your PDF files, or send them the link them to you. I'll send you the links. And like, subscribe, and share. And I hope I can't really see my time there, but I hope next time I'll try to make it a little bit shorter, and get ready for the next transmission. It's going to be towards the end of this week. And like, subscribe, and share, and sign up with our Facebook group, the Activate Priestess of Wealth, where all these links will be uploaded, and there'll be more info about the new webinar series that are coming up with the master classes that my mentors are actually offering. And I got a chance to see actually and learn more about my family's business, online business, that's thriving and soaring, darling. So until later on, love you all. Stay and live in your authentic truth, and love yourself, and love each other, and love everyone around you. And know that there's always more from the source, okay? And stay in the community, stay connected to the like-minded people, that we are all here for each other, okay? I couldn't do this without my team, without my collective of starseeds and light workers, and you are inspiring me as well. So until later on, namaste, asai ashanti. That means many blessings in Lemurian. And I'm your Soul Spark Coach. Until later on, much love.